What if I told you that the greatest comeback stories in history didn't start with success, but with failure? That every champion, every legend, every person who turned their life around had a moment where they felt completely lost, where everything seemed impossible. The only difference between those who stayed down and those who rose to greatness? A single decision. Think about a time when you felt defeated, when life knocked you down so hard you questioned if you could ever get back up. Maybe it was a failed business, a broken relationship, a moment when you felt like you had lost all hope. That moment, the one that made you doubt yourself the most, could be the very thing that fuels your greatest success. Because here's the truth. The comeback is always stronger than the setback, but only if you know how to harness it. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to take you step by step through the process of making the greatest comeback of your life. The mindset shifts, the actions, the discipline, the exact formula that champions, top performers, and world leaders have used to turn rock bottom into their launching pad. So, if you've ever felt stuck, defeated, or unsure of how to move forward, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you won't just believe a comeback is possible, you'll know exactly how to make it happen. Why do people stay stuck after failure? Why do so many never make their comeback? It's not because they aren't capable. It's not because they don't want it badly enough. It's because of the psychology of setbacks, the silent traps that keep us from rising again. The first trap? Fear of starting again. When we fail, our mind does everything it can to protect us from feeling that pain again. So, instead of pushing forward, we hesitate. We tell ourselves, what if I fail again? What if it gets worse? What if people judge me? And so, we do nothing. We stay in the same place, hoping things will get better. But they don't. The second trap? Self-doubt and regret. When we hit rock bottom, our mind replays every mistake we made, every wrong turn, every missed opportunity. We convince ourselves that we should have done things differently. But regret is like a prison. It keeps us locked in the past while the future is waiting for us to take action. Let me tell you about Jake. Jake was like most people. He had a great job, a promising career. He was on top of the world until everything came crashing down. He lost his job. His confidence disappeared. His motivation? Gone. Every morning he woke up feeling like a failure, trapped in the cycle of self-doubt and fear. He thought his best days were behind him. But something changed. In just 6 months, Jake turned everything around. He went from feeling hopeless to becoming unstoppable. And it wasn't luck. It wasn't some overnight miracle. He followed a series of exact steps that rewired his mindset and rebuilt his life. Steps that anyone, yes, even you can take to start their greatest comeback. Because here's the truth. We've all faced moments like this. Moments where it feels like everything is over. Moments where the weight of failure is crushing. But the good news? A comeback isn't just possible, it's inevitable. If you follow the right path, if you take the right steps, you can turn your lowest point into your greatest rise. And in the next few moments, I'll show you exactly how to do it, step by step. The first step to making the greatest comeback of your life? Acceptance. Sounds simple, right? But it's the hardest step for most people, because let's be real, nobody likes admitting they failed. Nobody enjoys looking in the mirror and facing the truth. But here's the thing. Until you own your situation, you can't change it. Most people resist reality. They make excuses. It wasn't my fault. If only things had been different. I didn't deserve this. And while those things might be true, they won't move you forward. See, the more you fight reality, the longer you stay stuck. But the moment you accept where you are, you take back control. Because if you created this reality even through mistakes, then you can create a new one. Let's make this real. Grab a piece of paper, write down 2 questions. Where am I right now? Be brutally honest. What got me here? This isn't about blaming yourself. This is about understanding, about seeing your situation clearly so you can start making moves. Think about the greatest athletes, the greatest leaders. They don't make excuses. Take Tom Brady, for example. When he has a bad game, he doesn't sit around blaming the refs, the weather, or his teammates. He sits down, studies the film, finds out exactly where he went wrong, and adjusts. And that's what you have to do. You are not defined by this moment, but you must own it before you can change it. Right now, you have two choices. Keep making excuses and stay stuck. Accept where you are and take the first step towards something greater. And since you're still watching this, I already know which choice you're about to make. So now that we've owned the situation, it's time for step 2. The shift that separates those who stay down from those who rise back up. Now that you've owned your situation, it's time for the most important shift of all. The comeback mindset. Because here's the truth, you can't think like a loser and expect to win. Every champion, every person who's ever turned their life around has made this shift. They move from self-pity to problem-solving, from victim to warrior. Think about it. When life knocks you down, you have two choices. Stay down, blame the world, and keep asking, why did this happen to me? Get up, take control, and ask, what can I learn from this? Every legendary comeback begins with that choice. Let's look at an example. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. Most people don't know this, but in high school, he was cut from the varsity team. Imagine that, being told you're not good enough. He could have quit. He could have said, maybe I'm just not meant for this. But instead, he trained harder than ever. Every morning before the sun was up, he was on the court. Every night while others rested, he was putting in work. And the next year, he came back stronger, faster, unstoppable. That's the mindset shift. So here's your challenge. Grab that same paper from before and write this down. What's one major failure you've experienced? What can you learn from it? Be specific. How can you use that lesson to move forward? Because listen, a warrior doesn't cry about the battle. He sharpens his sword. This moment you're in, it's not the end, it's the training ground for your greatest comeback. So now that your mindset is locked in, it's time for step 3, where we start taking action and rebuilding your momentum. Now that you've shifted your mindset, it's time to move. Because here's the truth, a comeback doesn't happen by accident. Every great turnaround story has a strategy behind it. And here's where most people go wrong. They rely on motivation instead of a plan. Motivation fades. Some days you'll feel fired up. Other days you'll want to quit. That's why you need a game plan, a system that keeps you moving forward no matter how you feel. So here's your step-by-step blueprint to rebuild your life piece by piece. Step 1, set a clear, realistic goal. Not just any goal. A SMART goal. Specific. What exactly do you want? Measurable. How will you track progress? Achievable. Can you realistically reach it? Relevant. Does this goal align with your vision? Time-bound. What's your deadline? Example, don't just say, I want to get fit. Say, I will lose 15 pounds in 3 months by working out 4 days a week and eating clean. Step 2, break it down into daily wins. The mistake most people make, they focus on the big picture and get overwhelmed. Instead, break your goal into small, manageable steps. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that moves me closer? What's one habit I need to develop? Because consistency beats intensity every time. Step 3, create an environment that forces you to succeed. If your environment doesn't support your goal, you're setting yourself up for failure. Trying to get fit? Stock your kitchen with healthy food. Trying to start a business? Surround yourself with people who inspire you. Trying to stay focused? Remove distractions, delete social media apps, set boundaries, create a workspace. Because discipline isn't about willpower, it's about setting yourself up for success. A real-life example: Oprah Winfrey. After hitting rock bottom, Oprah had one mission: to become the most influential woman in media. But she didn't do it overnight. She set clear goals. She took daily action, and she built an environment that forced her to grow. She surrounded herself with mentors, studied the greats, and stayed consistent until she became a legend. And now, here's your challenge. Pause for a second and write down one goal you commit to. Drop it in the comments below. If you're serious about your comeback, say it out loud. Claim it. Because now, it's time for step 4, building relentless discipline. This is where most people fall off. They set the goal, they start strong, but the moment they hit resistance, the moment things get hard, they stop. And that's the difference between winners and quitters. Success isn't about avoiding failure, it's about refusing to quit. Every great comeback story is built on resilience, the ability to take the punches, get knocked down, and still keep moving forward. So how do you develop the kind of resilience that makes success inevitable? 1. Develop mental toughness. Your mind is your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. If you don't control it, it will control you. 2 powerful tools. Visualization. Close your eyes. See yourself succeeding. Feel the emotions as if it's already happened. Athletes do this before every game. Affirmations. Train your brain to believe in your comeback. Say it out loud. I don't quit. I rise. I will make this happen. Because if you don't believe in your success, no one else will. 2. Surround yourself with the right people. You can't build a comeback with the wrong crowd. If your environment is full of negativity, doubt, excuses, people who drain your energy, you will fail before you even start. So take inventory of your circle. Who lifts you up? Keep them close. Who drags you down? Cut them out. Because the truth is, like you become the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. 3. Learn to embrace discomfort. Most people avoid pain. Champions use it as fuel. Feeling tired? Keep going. Not seeing results fast enough? Stay consistent. Doubt creeping in? Push harder. Because growth only happens in discomfort. Example: Kobe Bryant's relentless work ethic. Kobe had every excuse to slow down. He was already one of the greatest. He had the rings, the fame, the money. But what did he do? He trained at 4 a.m. every single day, even after winning championships, even when others were sleeping. Why? Because he never let success make him comfortable. And that's the mindset you need. Most people quit at the 10-yard line. They stop right before their breakthrough. But if you keep pushing, if you refuse to give up, you will break through. And that leads us to the final step. This is it. Everything we've talked about, the fall, the mindset shift, the game plan, resilience, has led you to this moment. And now, you have a decision to make. Because no matter where you are right now, this is just the beginning of your comeback story. Your failures, they do not define you. Your setbacks, they were lessons in disguise. Your pain, it was preparing you for this very moment. The past is gone, the future is unwritten, and the pen, it's in your hands. The only thing left to do, take action, because knowledge without action is worthless. Motivation without execution is wasted. So here's the challenge. Drop a comment with one action you're taking today to start your comeback. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Will you finally write that business plan, start your fitness journey, fix that relationship, get back up after that loss? Whatever it is, declare it. Commit to it. Because comebacks don't happen in silence. They happen when you decide out loud that you will not stay down. This isn't just a video, it's a movement. And your comeback, it starts now.